All right, so here's like kind of our third and final installment of the area model multiplication, and we're going to be focusing on 3 by 3 digit numbers. So that's just really meaning what happens when I have a 3-digit number and I have to multiply it by another 3-digit number. Like, what do I do here? What is the process? And we're going to move through this video quite quickly. I would recommend that you watch all the other area model multiplication videos before this one, because this is kind of the last step. Because here the steps are the same as all the other videos. We just have more digits to be working with. So let's go ahead and dive in and do that. So 538, 571. So 538 times 571, right? Okay, so the first step, as all videos have shown to this point, and I'm not going to be writing those steps on the board. I want us like starting to connect with them, is going ahead and expanding, right? And again, I say, if you aren't sure what's happening here, watch the other videos first. We've talked about all of this. So I'm going to expand 538 into 538, and then I'm going to expand. I'm going to give a little space over here. 500 plus 70 plus 1. Okay. So we've expanded. This helps us build our array or our model. Let's give myself a little space for an answer. And let's go ahead and do that. So here's another trick you can try. As I said, I often look at these as like the columns. The first number is the columns and the second is the rows. Like that helps me, but again, it's interchangeable. Doesn't matter. One trick I kind of get to when things get this large is I literally build my model underneath one of the numbers. So I don't even have to rewrite it. Because look, there we have it. Here's 571, right? So in this case, I'm calling these the columns. And these will be my rows. So there's something you can do if you want. You don't have to. It's just a little trick I like to do. And if we go over to the rows, we'll see we have 3. So we're going to need 3 rows over here. I think I definitely could have made this model larger. It's going to be hard to squeeze all these numbers in here. Okay, so we've labeled our rows and our columns, so now let's just multiply, right? So in this case, I have 500 times 500. I have 70 times 500, and I have 1 times 500. I have 500 here times 30. I have 70 times 30. I have 1 times 30. And here I have 500 times 8, 70 times 8. And 1 times 8. All right, so let's just solve each one of these out, and then again we will be adding all of these. Notice this time I'm going to have 9 numbers to add up. Kind of why I put all this space over here, because I know I don't have to line up all these problems for the addition as that last step. So 5 times 5 is 25. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Ooh, it's going to be a big number. 250,000. 7 times 5 is 35, and 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're gonna have some big numbers to be working with. Identity property, so that's just 500. So let's just finish those. We know those. Those are just 1 times that number. Let's see, 5 times 3, 15, and 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros. 7 times 3 is 21, and 2 zeros. 7 times 8. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 8 is 56, and 1 0. 5 times 8 is 40, and then 2 zeros. Okay, so we got a lot to line up. So again, I like to start with the largest value. And I'm going to really try to space this out so it's clear and concise. So 250,000. This is 30. The next one is 35,000. Great. Looks like we got a 15,000. It's up to you the order you put these in. I kind of just like look for higher values or the numbers with more digits, the most digits, because then it's kind of easier to stack them. But you know, to each their own. As long as everything's lined up, it won't matter. So just make sure everything's lined up. Again, notice I'm kind of crossing out numbers as I use them so I don't forget them. 30 and 8. Okay, let's hope I can get that written down there for you. All right, so we have this big old piece. So we're going to start in our ones place as always, but that's all zeros and just an 8. Tens place is all zeros, and then 6 plus 3, that's 9. 0, 0, 0, 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 5 more is 11. So let's regroup. That's a 1, not an 11. Oh boy, let's just, I can see how confusing that would be. There we go, it's a 1. Okay, so 5 plus 5 is 10, plus 4 more is 14, plus this one is 15, 16, 17, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So regroup, and 3. So I get 307,198 is my product. So again, it's just same steps. We're just really thinking so often about like how to organize it all, because the more digits we have, the larger our model gets, and the more numbers we need to add together. So there's just room for error. So we want to be really careful. All right. Let's take 872. Let's multiply that by 245. Okay. So again, if you want, like, pause it at this point. Like, we've gone through so many of these. If you watch the other videos, feel free to pause it, solve it, and then come back. I'm going to go ahead and start with our first step, which is, of course, to expand out. So 800 plus 70 plus 2. And then we have 200 plus 40 plus 5. Okay. Whoa. I'll go back to our original style of thinking about which ones are the columns and the rows. Columns and rows. Okay, so we'll do that there. And so I got to build my model. Boy, this is going to prove challenging between building the model and having space to do all my addition. This is true. Let's see what I can do here. All right. So I have 1, 2, 3. So that's 800, 7, and 2. And then I have 3 rows, 245. Okay. So this time I'm just going to multiply through. I know I typically write the multiplication problem in the box as well. It's highly recommended, but right now I'm just going to say 2 times 8 is 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So notice I just put the product in there. Here's 7 times 2, so that's 14. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 2 times 2 is 4, and then 2 zeros. Let's see, 8 times 4 is 32, and then there's 3 zeros with those 2 numbers. 7 times 4 is 28, and 2 zeros. And 2 times 4 is 8 with 1 zero. 8 times 5 is 40, and then I have 2 zeros up there in the 800, no zeros with the 5. 7 times 5 is 35, and 1 zero, and 2 times 5 is 10. All right, so here's all those big numbers. I guess maybe we should change some color. It's looking kind of boring in here. So we're going to add all 9 of these numbers together, and that's going to get us our answer. So let's see, based on space, let's see what I can do here. I'm going to take 160,000. Done. This is 14,000. Okay. 32,000, that's a big one. Take that. 4,000 down here. I'm going to show you kind of what I'm going to do here. And this is why crossing math's important. All right, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to add these ones up, and then I'll come back and take care of the other numbers that are left, right? Just for the sake of space. So it's a 0, 0, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2. Okay, so I'm not done now, remember. So this is what I have so far. Now let's add on 400, 350. I just broke it into steps so I would have the space to do the work instead of trying to cram it and then making a mistake. Because when we start to cram things in, that's definitely where we start making mistakes. So 0, 5, or no, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 2 and a 3, 1 and a 2. So that gets us 213,640. So larger products, right? And that's really all that happens. So let's go ahead and do one last one. And like I said, it really helps that we watch the other videos so that this makes sense, right? I'm skipping a lot of things in here because we have covered so many of them in the other videos. So if you're like watching this one first and you're like, what the heck are they talking about? Go check out the other area of multiplication or area model of multiplication videos, and that will help you out. Okay, 728, 349. Step one, wow, what do you know? We're gonna expand. So, oh, I did it again. 700, I need to stay away from the edge of my screen. It just does that every time. 349, okay, so I've expanded there. Let's build our model, okay. Let's see, I'm gonna, as I said, stay away from the edge. I move right back over to the edge. I'm living on the edge. I'm so dangerous. All right, so those are our columns. So 728, and these will be our rows, and we need 3 of them. So 349. Okay, so let's multiply these. Okay, so I guess I'll try to squeeze them in this time. So I'm writing in the multiplication problems now in case you're like, wait, what? I did not do that with the last problem. I just was like, I think it's often as we become stronger with our skills, we can think about like what steps are necessary and what steps we already got down, but be honest with it. Like, don't just skip steps because you think you need to, right? Like, don't. You'll make so many mistakes if you do that. It's kind of like taking shortcuts. I always say, like, you can't take a shortcut on something unless you know where you're going, right? Unless you totally know where you're going, that's the only time. So learn how to get there. Then you can start thinking about shortcuts, right? So let's learn how to get there. 7 times 3 is 21. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros. 3 times 4 is 24. Oops, I meant to underline, not cross out. 2 zeros, 2 zeros. 7 times 4 is 28. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 2 times 4 is 8. 1, 2. 1, 2. 8 times 3, 32. And 1, 0. 7 times 9 is 63. 2 zeros. 2 times 9 is 18. 1, 0. And 72, right? And again, it's like practicing your multiplication skills is what really helps you in this. Like, if you were unaware of like what 9 times 7 is, then I would go work that out on the side and then come back and put those zeros into the place values, right? This is, I guess, I hope you're just seeing like how and why everything builds on each other. This is why we do all this work early in the year, is to build up to these moments. Okay, so the first number I have is 210,000. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, just double checking. All right, let's see, we have 28,000 underneath that. And we have 6,300. Okay, we have 6,000. We have 2,400. 800. We have 180. 320. I'm gonna stop there. I'm just feeling uncomfortable about my space. I'll add the 72 on to the very end here. So don't worry, I have not forgotten you, 72. I will be back. So it's a 0. That's a 0 because it's 8, 9, 10. So regroup. 8. Oh, okay, a lot of numbers. Let's see, I'll start at the bottom. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, nice. Okay, 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 6 is 16. 16 plus 6 is 22. 22 plus 2 is 24. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. And then I have a 72 I still need to add on, which I guess now I just have to change the 10s in the 1s place. Everything else stays the same. Oops, stays the same. Okay, so there we have it, 254,072. Okay, so again, you know, I really jumped through these ones because I do feel like we have talked about this process on so many levels already. So just one last thing to remember with all